Hello and welcome to Ask the Expert. It is a digital series designed to bring you information about personal finance and business. My co-host, Dr. DeForest B. Soares Jr., the CEO and founder of the D-Free Financial Freedom Movement, unfortunately is not with us today, but he sends his love to everyone. Today's guest is attorney Donna Brown, aka Auntie Donna Brown. Donna, as I mentioned, is an attorney, and she is also the CEO and founder of Always Resourceful LLC. And today we're going to discuss federally registered trademarks. So if you're a business owner and you're questioning whether or not you need to have a trademark, having a trademark protects the value and goodwill of your brand in the marketplace. Trademarks are nationally recognized, and they give you the exclusive right of stopping another company or individual within the US from using your trademark to sell the same products and services to the public. So Donna has a wealth of knowledge for us today. So first, welcome, Attorney Donna Brown. So nice to have you with us.
Oh, thank you, Brittany. I have been an admirer of yours. I love the work you're doing. Thank you for having me.
You're so kind. Well, thank you so much. Do you mind starting us off? For people at home who are business owners, can you share what are the benefits of a business owner having a registered trademark?
Sure. So the benefits for business essentially is like being a homeowner. Just like when you own your home, you have real property because that is the thing, the asset of value, the thing that you hope will appreciate and grow in value. As a business owner, you've got lots of ideas. You may have some systems. You may have some logos, designs, slogans, sayings, things that people associate with you. And to the extent that those are associated with you, that's your brand. And your brand is intellectual property, very as much as real property. So with the intellectual property, you can own that, not by recording a deed at the real estate office, but by a registration through the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Sometimes it's a trademark, sometimes it's a patent, or various forms of intellectual property, but we're talking about trademark today.
All right. So thank you, Donna. So, well, before we go forward, can I call you Auntie Donna Brown?
Well, I would be honored. That is actually, Brittany, one of my brand names, Attorney Donna Brown. However, Auntie is this place where I'm speaking to you today of love and legacy. And so thank you. I would love it if you called me Auntie.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Auntie Donna. All right. So the next question is in regards to if someone is going forward, they would like to trademark their business. Do they need to hire an attorney?
So need is, I hate to do this so early in an interview, but it depends. It really does depend because the need, if you're basing on what does the United States Patent and Trademark Office require? No, they don't require you to have an attorney. In fact, I encourage a lot of people who come and consult with me, I will give them resources because I understand everybody needs to keep their coin, their budget in order. And so the United States Patent and Trademark Office over the last 12 months has done an amazing job of giving consumers a lot of information for free, but people don't know it's there. And when they know it's there, they're not sure how to access it. So no, you don't need it from that perspective. Now, I will say that when you are watching the videos on the United States Patent and Trademark Office about doing a filing for yourself, they say when you go to register your trademark name, it's pretty simple. You could do it yourself. Not simple like, well, you're going to get your driver's license, but more simple like you're filing complicated tax returns while skiing and an avalanche comes.
I
That's
see.
literally what they say.
And in the way that you describe it, you make me feel as though just because a lawyer is not required, it's important to get one.
Absolutely. So it's not required, and everyone gets to, the answer really is everyone gets to determine what their need is.
Very nice, very nice. So when they're beginning their process, they're getting all of their paperwork together. Can you describe what a trademark clearance search is?
Oh, wow, you've done your homework.
I got
Absolutely.
ready for you, Auntie Donna.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So the search. So essentially, and just to kind of recap for those who may not be familiar, the trademark itself, right? That's usually a name, a slogan. It could be a brand. It can be anything that identifies your brand that your clients associate with you.
Mhm.
And so we'll talk about that later, the different types of brands that are trademarked.
Mhm.
But once you have that brand, then if you want to control the income that's generated off of that brand, it is very, and again, I hate to use words of the United States Patent and Trademark Office. However, the fact is, it's critical that you consider very early on, Kathy Vidal says, to go ahead and secure ownership of your trademark. Now, in terms of the clearance search, that's a part of it. That's a part of it. So you start with your application, or well, let me back up. You should start with research or a consultation on whether or not what I have is trademarkable. Then second, there'll be a search that's done, or excuse me, second, there's an application that's done. And then third, there's a search that's done. That is the clearance search. But I'm not sure, I've talked so much, if you want me to keep going.
No, you're good. You're doing great, because I just want to make sure that I'm writing notes as you talk, because if someone has an attorney, as you mentioned, you determine whether or not what you have is trademarkable. I'm gonna go back to that in a minute after the clearance search. If they're
Sure.
working with an attorney, do they need to ask them to do a clearance search, or is that something that the attorney will already do for them on their behalf?
Okay, absolutely. So yes, that part of a clearance search is really critical. And if you consult a professional, they will highly recommend a clearance search.
Mhm.
And I'm really glad you asked me that question, Brittany, because I feel like so many people out there, especially in the Black and Brown community, I really feel like we are not receiving the information we need to decision on, right? Okay, so when I say that, you'll see ads in the paper, federal trademark, $39, $49.
Mhm.
That is generally a scam, because the trademark, to be able to file your application and get a search on it by the trademark office, for them to determine if they're going to accept it, they charge you at least minimum 250 to 350 just for the application with no attorney work. Okay, so back to your question, the clearance search, the United States Patent and Trademark Office recommends not only that you get the clearance search, but that you get a comprehensive clearance search. So on the United States Patent and Trademark, period.
Well said. Thank you. I think you were perhaps beginning to mention, is there a fee associated with that one? You mentioned the fee just to file the application, but is there a fee associated with a comprehensive search?
So for my clients, I include the fee with the search. I do it. I do the consultation. We do. I happen to be business strategist and attorney, and that was my former life and career. So we do a whole strategy, right? We have to talk about what it is, and you want to be strategic because there's decisioning along the way that needs to occur. And I can't make that for you, but I can make sure that you know what your choices are. So it's I'd highly recommend if people can do get a consultant that they get someone, number one,
Mhm.
who is a licensed attorney. Okay. And the reason I say that is because over the last year, the Federal Trademark Office has cracked down on a lot of scams. And they used to allow foreign attorneys to register an application. They used to allow processing companies to register applications, but they felt like people were just taking the $39 or $49 and filing anything. And then on the back end, the person would receive an office action letter that this is not going through and you need to give a response. And the person couldn't give the response because they didn't understand what was filed to begin with. So now the United States Patent and Trademark Office says they cut off, I don't even know how many people, and said, we're going to do this all over again. We're going to do the registration process all over again.
Mhm.
And they will only communicate with a licensed attorney, bar admitted, proof of that. And you have to be registered and authenticated through their system.
Mhm.
And so that part, I recommend that if you're going to get a consultation, get someone licensed and registered with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, okay, to be your representative, because otherwise you're going to have problems. The second thing is,
Mhm.
and I hear myself as I say this, it's terrible, there's a lot involved. And so if you can get someone to give you an initial package, maybe a lot of practitioners will do that. I offer an initial package, and what I do is I just strategically plan on the front end, and then we go through it, and I walk you through it.
Nice. So then how can someone determine whether or not the person that they've hired or spoken to is an official US licensed trademark attorney?
That's a great question. So you can ask the person that question. Are you a licensed attorney? Okay. If so, what bar are you admitted to? And they'll say, oh yes, I'm a licensed attorney, I'm admitted to, the bar. In my case, I'm admitted to the bar in Virginia. And you can ask them, now are you registered and authenticated with the United States Patent and Trademark Office? And they will tell you yay or nay. These are things that you can confirm with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. You can call them, they have an assistance center, they'll let you know, as well as you can call the state bar and they will let you know.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I don't think people know that they can pick up the phone and actually make that request. So that's really good to know. I want to go back just a little bit to what you were saying earlier in regards to when you do consultations with your clients, you sit down with them to assess whether or not what they have is even, as you mentioned, trademarkable. Can you describe what is something that can be trademarked? You mentioned a little bit in the beginning versus something when you may sit down with a client and say, we can't trademark this.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, in case my you patent PTO, USPTO friends are watching, I have to be careful. Everyone has to be careful. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm talking to you, Brittany, really for information and planning and decisioning of you and your viewers. Okay. In terms of determining if something's trademarkable or patentable, that ultimate decision lies with the examining attorney at the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So that is something I cannot tell you. However, I can certainly give you my lived experience, my strategies, my thoughts, and then present them to you and let you make a decision. Oh, excuse me, and let you know about potential pitfalls. So I'm giving you lived experience, I'm giving you strategies, thoughts, and letting you know about potential pitfalls. And then I'm going to take all that information on the United States Patent and Trademark Office website that just like makes your head boil over, and boil it down into just a few simple steps so you can make a decision.
How long would you say it takes traditionally to go from consultation to officially filing an application if you're working with an attorney?
Well, it depends. Okay, it depends. So now this kind of goes back to, is it trademarkable?
Mhm.
It depends on what you've asked to have trademark. And so when you come, you're going to need to know exactly what it is that you're trying to trademark. Is it a slogan? Is it just your business name? Is it the package, the Tiffany blue in the package, right?
Mhm.
Is it um, a sound? Law and Order has this sound, dun 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 dun. Maybe they can drop some sounds in the background on the edit. But that is the trademark sound. And so you need to let your attorney, you need to gather up all your evidence and show why this particular piece of property, intellectual property created through you and your hard work as a creator, innovator, or entrepreneurship, but why that property should be associated exclusively with you, and proof of your ownership. The Patent and Trademark Office is going to ask you when you go to present your application for registration, why should this be held out from the public and you given kind of control over the use of this property, this word, the slogan?
Mhm.
How do we know whether or not to give that to you or not? And basically, you have to establish how you have used this property, how you have put it out in commerce. You may have used it on your website. You may have used it for proposals. You may have business cards. It's a myriad of different ways to establish it. But you need to be able to establish that. And it's therefore exclusively something that you think people are starting to associate with you. And you don't want other people coming in using the same content property and having them end up confused.
Got it. And then, so once an official application has been filed, they've, the client has worked with an attorney or they've done it themselves, but preferably worked with an attorney. How long does it take once, traditionally, I'm sure it varies, right? But how long should someone really expect for it to take from application process to knowing whether or not they were approved or denied?
Oh, that's an excellent question, Brittany. The United States Patent and Trademark Office is, as of this date, inundated.
Mhm.
Inundated. We are in a digital revolution, much like the Industrial Revolution. So much is happening so quickly, and people are starting to learn that they need to own it, and there's a lot of filings. So as a result, it's going to take you at least 12 months.
Mhm.
It could take you even 18 months or
Wow.
longer. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So if you're interested, make sure that you really begin the process. Oh my God.
Absolutely. And it's something I want to share. I don't think a lot of people know this, Brittany, but your name, okay, or your whatever it is you want to trademark. People ask me, Attorney Donna Brown, why are you calling yourself Auntie? And and I say, well, it was a name that was given to me as I share knowledge with people, right? Because I think it's a legacy. You have to pass it forward. And it was a name that I took and trademark. That's why you see the R with the the R with the circle. That is what it looks like when you have actually completed the process of filing your application. doing your clearances searches, and then explaining why this is associated with you. There's another piece we haven't talked about, and it would take a little bit longer, but you do have to, you don't just get a blanket control of that name or phrase. It's associated with the services or products you provide. For me, that is legacy, generational wealth, intellectual property. Okay. And so when I first started using that name, Auntie Donna Brown, as soon as I put it on my website, before I got the R, or before I did the application, and I started sharing knowledge for a fee, then at that moment, I now have created intellectual property. I do not have to go to the trademark office to actually have that intellectual property be identified as mine. I don't. I already have that. However, to the extent that someone else also calls themselves Auntie Donna Brown, and they are confusing people out there, and they might believe in legacy and passing on generational wealth like I do, then there's going to be a problem. So in that case, that's when you need to file, because the first to file wins. It doesn't matter if you have had your actual name since you were born. If someone else files it and it's in the class that you want to use it in, and people are already associating that name with another brand, you can still keep your name, but you may not market yourself in that way.
I remember you said that. And I think you also mentioned, and you really kind of explained it there, that even if, say, business person A versus business person B, even if business person A had the business longer, but business person B filed the trademark, name, they would get it.
Yes. And let me tell you something. There's no, it's really, really unfortunate. There's few things I can think of, just business wise, that are more difficult than to tell a client, look, I know you've had this for many years, probably invested tens of thousands annually. But yeah, it's already taken. And the other person could be, potentially be coming to you saying cease and desist. And by the way, if you've generated any income with my brand, give it to me.
See, that right there alone is going to have many people deciding to officially register and do the trademark. Wow. Okay, so I want to ask you, once the application has gone through, let's say someone, hopefully they don't, but let's say someone gets a denial. Can they do an appeal?
Okay, so there's a step before that, but yes, they can, absolutely. So what happens is, and this is the problem with the $39.99, $49.99, all these, what I think are essentially misleading people in terms of the cost of the federal trademark. So you do the clearance search, they're going to look on a federal level, and they're going to make sure that that name is not used somewhere else for another brand that might be confused with yours. On a federal level, not just in your neighborhood, they're going to look in all social medias. They're going to look in state level. They'll look on a local level, but they're going to look in social media, digital presence. People have created brands off of an Instagram name or Facebook name. And so they're going to look at all that. Okay. So now you're going to apply, and you're going to have your attorney do a clearance background search to see the likelihood of someone else having the name already and or other, it's a long laundry list, too much to go through here, reasons why they might tell you no, right? And so the attorney will tell you, here's what we've got. You know, I recently had someone who had a name, they really loved it, but I had been talking, that person had been talking to me for a while, and the federal trademark had been registered within the time frame we had been talking. And
Wow.
so we had to go a different route. Okay. So once you make the application, what can happen before a final denial is a non-final office action letter.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many people come to me saying, wait a minute, I paid my whatever it was, 199, whatever it was, and I got this non-final action letter, and they're asking all this gibberish, and I don't know how to respond. And I only have 90 days. What do I do?
Can you describe some of the top reasons someone would get denied?
Wow. So the laundry list is really, really long, but I want to just kind of pull out a couple of them. Okay. When you do your application, it's very technical. It's online these days. And so you'll go in and you have to clearly identify who you are. You would think it's easy, right? But there's a format for it. Then if you have representation, it's easier. Hopefully they'll do it for you, but they need to know who you are and what exactly are you applying for. So there's generally there are a couple of types of trademarks, but the most common are you're either using it already, your property, or you're about to put it into use. So
Okay.
you have to communicate to the United States Patent and Trademark Office using their language. It's like speaking another language, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's difficult sometimes. And then from there are a bunch of different reasons that you can be denied. So usually, to begin with, it's the format, it's the failure to even properly complete the opening forms. And if you go and look and open them, it's all public record. Just go to uspto.gov. And by the way, I want to encourage your listeners to do that because that determines kind of the need. The second thing is a lot of times people come to me and they'll say, this was denied because it's confusing because someone else already had the name. So you can't have property that talks about and is associated with your brand if someone else is using the same property and it's confusingly similar. The whole idea is to make sure that people are clear when you put something out there that came from Brittany,
Mhm.
you know, and you don't want anybody else infringing on that because you should take serious your platform, your reputation. Then the second thing is sometimes it can be something that is confusingly similar as the first, but the second is merely descriptive. So, for example, if you were to use Apple, Apple, and say, I want to trademark this for my farm, the United States Patent and Trademark Office might say, well, now you're just describing produce. You might say, well, I'm not, but I'm doing oranges and I want apple, or I'm doing apple, whatever it is. They're going to say that's produce. Apple's a produce. We're probably not going to do that. It's merely descriptive. You can't do that. However, if you use a name in a novel way, like maybe you're making a computer and you pick your name to be Apple, that they will consider.
Can you describe what are some of the top reasons someone would get a federally registered trademark?
Yeah, and thank you for that because I call myself a federal trademark attorney. And so if you want to get your name, your brand, your color, whatever it is the intellectual property is associated or registered to be yours, then you're going to have to go through a registration process, and that is controlled by the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
So, for anyone at home who is a business owner, how can they know if they do indeed need a trademark?
Sure, sure. So that you need a trademark again. this is not me. This is according to Kathy Vidal, the head of the United States Patent and Trademark Office right now. She says it's critically important if you are an innovator, creator, if you are an entrepreneur, if you've created intellectual property, to get a registration to register your trademark with our office. Why? Because that will be kind of like a recorded deed in a piece of property, right? You got to put people on notice. Don't come here. This is mine. And if they don't know, then you can send them a cease and desist letter. Okay. I often get the question, how do you know when? Let's say I know I do need to get one, but when should I get it? Okay, again, back to the beginning. As you invest your dollars, think about this. If you have a budget of $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 a year you're spending on something you don't own.
When you put it like that, when you put it like that, it makes, I'm sure many business owners, they're going to watch this and say, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Thank you so much, Donna, for Auntie Donna, for all of the information and expertise that you have shared with us today. Before we close, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would like to add?
Yes, yes. I really appreciate talking to you. Again, I love watching you, and I love the way that you empower people, Brittany. You empower them to make decisions, and that's what I do in the area of strategic planning and protecting your intellectual property. So I would just want to leave you with this from the auntie side of Attorney Donna Brown. Look, we know our years are numbered, right? God promises us that. This is debt we all gonna have to pay one day. And when it's your time, okay, and you look back over all of the years of your life, okay, what will be your legacy? And is that legacy something that you own? Can you now transfer it to your children? That's the significance of owning and registering your intellectual property. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Auntie Donna Brown, for joining us today. And if anyone is watching and you're saying, you're interested in trademarking your business, but you may also want to get your finances in order as well, please make sure that you visit the URL at the bottom of the screen, dfree.com/get-help. Fill out the form, and we will ensure that a financial professional reaches out to you so that you can begin to create your plan. As Dr. Soares always says, make sure that you have your team. So you can have your financial professional, and then if you're going to trademark your business, you'll have an attorney as well. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a wonderful day.